Now available on Tata Sky channel number 526.
Hello and welcome to the property news here on Magic Bricks, now India's first property channel. I'm Krishna Kumar. First up, a look at the headlines that we're tracking. Cheer for home buyers in Rajasthan. Rajasthan government passes a landmark land titling law. The reform, which gives more power to home buyers, guarantees land ownership in the state. Magic Bricks now asks, will other states follow? Mumbai first and now Delhi. Fires have broken out in the national capital's biggest garbage landfill in Ghazipur. The government has not acted yet. Residents and environmentalists fear it could be another Deonar in the making. Meanwhile, Mumbai seems to have inched closer to a solution for the Deonar crisis. Tata Consultancy Services has submitted its report to the BMC, recommending the usage of Deonar waste to generate energy. Magic Bricks now gets you some exclusive highlights of this report. Straight to the big news for the property market from the land of the royals, and yet another first in the country. Rajasthan has become the first state to pass the land certificate titling bill. This landmark reform is key to modern urban development. It gives more power to home buyers. In a nutshell, what this reform essentially means is that the Rajasthan government will now guarantee land ownership in the state. Once the reform is implemented, the property market in the state will be more transparent, and this will lead to faster infrastructure development. In fact, this landmark legislation is a paradigm shift in the property market, and now other states are expected to follow. In fact, joining us all the way from Jaipur is the Rajasthan State BJP Chief, Ashok Pranami. Mr. Pranami, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on the Property News and Magic Bricks Now. Firstly, congratulations to you and to the government for passing this landmark legislation. Tell us, why did you pass this new legislation? What was the need for it?
ये राजस्थान प्रदेश पहला प्रदेश है पूरे देश में जिसने दी राजस्थान अर्बन लैंड सर्टिफिकेशन ऑफ टाइटल बिल 2016 को पास किया है। इसके माध्यम से एक ट्रांसपेरेंसी आएगी, एक पारदर्शिता आएगी, और जो लैंड का ऑनर है उसको सर्टिफिकेशन प्रॉपर मिलेगा। और निश्चित रूप से जो इतने लिटिगेशंस होते थे वो लिटिगेशन कम होंगे, लिटिगेशन नहीं होंगे।
प्रणामी जी, ये तो डेफिनेटली बड़ी बोल्ड मूव है। ये रिफॉर्म राजस्थान को कैसे बेनिफिट करेगा, वो बता सकते हैं हमें?
देखिए, इससे निश्चित रूप से सबसे पहले तो लिटिगेशंस कम होंगे। दूसरा, आप देखें जनरेशन टू जनरेशन आपकी लैंड की ओनरशिप, उसकी टाइटल क्लियर नहीं होती, उसको क्लियर सर्टिफिकेशन उसका हो जाएगा। इससे निश्चित रूप से जब एक ट्रांसपेरेंसी होती है, एक पारदर्शिता होती है, तो उससे इन्वेस्टमेंट भी आता है, उससे इन्वेस्टमेंट भी आता है। तो मैं समझता हूं इससे अर्बन डेवलपमेंट को बहुत अच्छी गति मिलेगी, अच्छा यहाँ पे इन्वेस्टमेंट आएगा, और लोगों में एक विश्वास होगा कि मैं राजस्थान प्रदेश में कोई भी चीज को खरीद रहा हूं, कोई भी काम कर रहा हूं, वो एक पारदर्शिता है और इसमें ऑनरशिप बड़ी क्लियर है।
पहले लैंडमार्क लेबर रिफॉर्म्स आए थे और अब राजस्थान पहला स्टेट है जो ये बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट कानून लेके आए हैं लैंड टाइटल लॉ की। क्या ये नया स्टेप राजस्थान में और निवेश बढ़ाएगा, वो बता सकते हैं हमें?
मैंने कहा जी, आदरणीय वसुंधरा जी निरंतर ऐतिहासिक फैसले कर रही हैं। इससे पहले उन्होंने श्रम कानून बनाया जिसको भी पूरी देश ने सराहा, केंद्र ने भी सराहना उसकी की, और उसका यह नतीजा है कि रिसर्जेंट राजस्थान के अंदर जितने इन्वेस्टमेंट, जितने एमओयू साइन हुए हैं, मैं समझता हूं पूरे देश में किसी भी रिसर्जेंट में इतने एमओयू साइन नहीं हुए जितने इस राजस्थान रिसर्जेंट में एमओयू साइन हुए हैं। तो एक इसका एक सकारात्मक इसके परिणाम हमारे सामने आएंगे, और निश्चित रूप से आदरणीय वसुंधरा जी का जो गोल है, जो उनका उद्देश्य है, जो उनका मिशन है, उस मिशन को वो निश्चित रूप से पूरा करेंगे। राजस्थान प्रदेश को आर्थिक दृष्टि से मजबूत करना और राजस्थान प्रदेश में युवाओं को रोजगार उपलब्ध करवाना, ये उनके मिशन, उस मिशन में पूरा कामयाब होंगे। बिल्कुल निश्चित रूप से श्रम कानून और आपका ये वाला अपने सर्टिफिकेशन, टाइटल सर्टिफिकेट कानून, ये दोनों उसमें लाभकारी साबित होंगे।
अशोक प्रणामी जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद हमारे साथ इस कार्यक्रम में भाग लेने के लिए, और हमारी तरफ से आपको बहुत बहुत बधाई। Now, what kind of an impact will this move have on home buyers in the state of Rajasthan? To help us understand those legalities better, we have with us Anil Harish, advocate at DM Harish & Co, joining us live here at the Property News. Thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here. Mr. Harish, tell us, we currently use stamp duty registration papers to prove ownership. What will change with the passage of this bill?
From the reports that one reads, it appears that the government is going to certify title, which means that they will have one comprehensive record which will show a person's title. Today there are many different documents that one has to go through. One will have to go through now the evidence of the person having purchased the property. Then one will have to see in Mumbai, for instance, the property card, or in other areas the Satpara or the Kata, then the tax bills, and one has to also investigate in the courts to see whether there is any litigation. So there are so many different places that one has to search and piece together the information. If the certification of title bill or act is successful in its efforts, then they seem to want to unify all these different pieces of information and be able to give one comprehensive title to a property, so one does not have to search in other places. That does not mean that the stamp duty is not payable or that the registration is not required. Surely that will have to be done, but that will be one of the pieces of evidence which will form part of the whole picture of the title.
Tell us more about the land title bill. Explain to our viewers, how does it stand to benefit home buyers like me and all those who are watching us?
The Rajasthan Act is the Urban Land Certification of Title Act, and they have said that they will probably begin it in certain notified areas. So it's not going to be all over Rajasthan, it will not be in the agricultural areas in the first instance, and even in the cities it may be in certain notified areas. Now, if they will charge a fee of 0.05%, that means about 5,000 rupees per 1 crore of rupees. If therefore they are able to do this, then a buyer of a home, for instance, will be confident that when he is buying, there is not going to be any other claim in respect of the property, that the title to the land is clear, that there are no other claimants. So this can be a great benefit. How they will do it is a different issue, because many factors will have to be taken into account: existing litigation, mortgages, old transactions, old claims from persons who felt that they had an interest in the property, etc. But once successfully implemented, then it will help the home buyers to a great extent.
All right, Anil, one last thing before we let you go. There are a lot of property owners who bought or inherited property before registration became mandatory and lack ownership papers now. Will a law like this benefit them?
Even if they have not had a certificate of title up to now, either the title is clear or it is not clear. If it is clear, then they can probably ask for a certification now, and if they are able to get that, that will be evidence of the fact that everything is in order for their future transactions. If the title is not clear on account of some litigation in the past, for instance, then I suppose the authority will not give a certificate of title or will not certify the title. If that is so, they will have to live with the past and hope to try and sort out the old litigation or the old issues that there are. But at least those who have it now, who can get it now, will be benefited going forward.
Anil Harish of Harish & Co, thank you so much for taking time to be with us here on the Property News and explaining the legalities of what this new law that Rajasthan has passed is set to look like on the ground. So what kind of an impact will this have on the real estate market as a whole? To understand that, we have another expert voice joining us, Anuj Puri, Chairman and Country Head India at JLL. Anuj, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us. Tell us, do you expect this initiative then to bring in more investment into the state of Rajasthan and sort of, prop up the property market over there?
Certainly. I mean, it's a big act. I know that Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh and Rajasthan had been working on ensuring that they were able to get in some kind of a focus on title to urban land. This and Rajasthan has taken the lead onto that. So that certainly brings in urgency of rapid urbanization now in Rajasthan. So two or three things would happen is, from an investor's point of view, certainly the institutional investors, they look at three pillars when they look at buying, properties in a certain area. One is how efficient the land management system is. And with this new act, we should be able to bring in a lot of efficiency in the land management system. The second is that how efficient the facilitation of the guaranteed transaction happens. Again, this will help the institutional investors to bring that. And the third and the most importantly, which also impacts your home buyers, other than institutional investors, is a transparent, reliable land market valuation. Because companies like us, when we do valuation, we put in a caveat that we are assuming that the title is clear and marketable. Now, there is no presumed ownership on this. With this act coming in, it will become like a guaranteed title. And that certainly has a far-reaching impact. So if you were to look at it, these are the three pillars which the institutional investors look at it. And those are the three pillars the Act, the Urban Land Certification of Title Bill, should be able to fulfill.
Anuj, I should have asked this question before. Tell us, in terms of how will this legislation benefit the all-important home buyer?
The negative consequence of India's system, India's land records, has been that we have to presume ownership versus a guaranteed title. Not only for owners of property, but also for the country's whole economic growth and development. This is going to be important. But just coming specifically to the home buyers, in the presumed ownership, which is what it is today, the risk of fraud is entirely the buyers, and there is no guarantee provided by the state. This is where our problem has been, where a lot of the sellers have duped the buyers by selling them fraudulent properties where the buyer presumed the ownership, and that was never guaranteed by the state. Registration didn't mean that it was guarantee of the title. With this now bill getting introduced, the presumed ownership is going to convert into guaranteed title by the state. And hence, when a buyer is buying, as a home buyer is buying, there's going to be a lot of guarantee of the state being provided along with that. And hence, going forward, you're going to see less unresolved disputes clogging the courts as a direct benefit of this bill, and also a guaranteed title to the property by the state.
Anuj, Rajasthan has seen some A-grade developers entering the market. Do you expect this particular reform to then push even more A-listers to venture into that state?
Certainly this, to my mind, it is a path-breaking bill, and I didn't realize that it would get introduced so quickly. So certainly it does bring in a lot of comfort. But to answer your question, the A-grade developers will be encouraged to look at the state of Rajasthan, but equally they would go in there if they see economic development, activity, more demand coming in from residential, offices, industrial, retail. I think that is what will drive them more, such as an economic progress in the state. This is going to be an influencer, but perhaps not the only decision maker for A-grade developers to get into Rajasthan.
All right, Anuj Puri, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on the Property News on Magic Bricks Now, and putting that landmark property reform being passed in the state of Rajasthan and what it means for the Rajasthan real estate market and, more importantly, home buyers in Rajasthan. Moving on to the other big story that we're tracking over here. The Ghazipur landfill in New Delhi caught fire on Thursday evening. The dump yard had caught fire a few weeks earlier as well and has been emitting toxic fumes in the East Delhi locality. This outbreak happens even as the situation of the Deonar dump yard in Mumbai is yet to be resolved. My colleague Deepa Rana was at that landfill earlier in the day and she gets us this ground report. Take a look.
Behind me is Delhi's largest and oldest garbage dump, the Ghazipur garbage dump. Yesterday there was a fire reported at the Ghazipur dump. In fact, the residents are now telling us that they are scared that this Ghazipur garbage dump may turn out to be another Deonar in the national capital. We tried talking to the authorities who are, even as we speak, have taken no action on ground about this garbage dump. In fact, residents now tell us that they are looking and requesting the authorities to close down this garbage dump, as it is leading not only to air pollution but are also creating breathing problems for the residents of nearby areas like Vaishali, Indrapuram and Mayur Vihar. In fact, fires have been raging and have been reported by the residents time and again to the authorities, but authorities have taken no action. We tried talking to the authorities and they tell us that in absence of another land to control or to make the garbage dump, this landfill is the only option left, and therefore garbage from all over the national capital has been dumped in the Ghazipur landfill. In fact, residents are now also complaining of the pollution and the stench, which is creating day-to-day problems for them, and they are requesting for this dump to be closed down. In fact, this 50 feet tall garbage dump has already been saturated and has exceeded its limit of 15 feet back in 2002. But the authorities are not taking any action on it. In fact, 12 million tons of garbage has been dumped in the Ghazipur landfill, and no action has been taken on ground so far.
Just to remind our viewers, that dump yard has a couple of important residential areas surrounding it, like Vaishali and Kaushambi. And keep in mind, Kaushambi is where the Delhi's Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal hails from. Now, Deepa Rana also caught up with some residents of that area who have been struggling with the difficulties of living close to a dump yard. Listening to what they had to say.
बदबू आती है इसमें बहुत, जब इधर की हवा चलती है तो बदबू यहीं आती है, जो परक को हवा जाती है तो परली तरफ वालों का बदबू आएगा, उन्हें जाएगा बदबू, तो यहाँ तो आता ही आता है।
इसके कारण हमें बहुत सारी स्मेल्स आती हैं और पॉल्यूशन हो रहा है, मलेरिया जैसी बहुत सारी बीमारियां फैल रही हैं, और इट इज़ नॉट गुड फॉर अस, क्योंकि बिकॉज बच्चे बाहर जाते हैं, खेलते हैं, और ये देखिए इसकी वजह से कूड़ा भी हो रहा है सारे में, तो ये ठीक नहीं है।
नहीं, अभी तो कोई ऐसा ही है, कई बार कोशिश की यहाँ से खत्ता को बंद कराया जाए, पर कोई ऐसा, क्योंकि प्राइवेट कॉलोनी है यहाँ, ज़्यादा सरकारी कोई फ्लैट वगैरह कोई है नहीं, इसलिए कोई ध्यान नहीं दिया जाए, विशेष ध्यान नहीं दिया जाए।
Meanwhile, Tata Consultancy Services has submitted its report on how to deal with the Deonar garbage crisis here in Mumbai to the BMC. The BMC was awaiting this report for nearly a month now. So what are the guidelines suggested by TCS? My colleague Aishwarya Paliwal gets us this exclusive report with all the highlights. Take a look.
Finally, the report that BMC was waiting for has been handed over to it. TCS was appointed by the civic body to give a detailed report on all the possible solutions available out there to tackle the massive garbage dumping crisis that is taking place currently in Deonar. Now, TCS has submitted its report to the civic body, and it recommends BMC to set up plants near Deonar which will be able to convert waste materials into energy. TCS also recommends BMC that the plant should be able to convert close to 2,000 tons of garbage into energy every day. Now, sources in BMC tell us that they will float the tenders for this plant in the next 10 days. After two massive fires broke out in Deonar in a span of 2 months, BMC had appointed TCS to give them this report. Now, with this report being handed over to BMC, we expect that speedy actions would be taken to curb this massive problem of garbage dumping in Deonar.
Just to remind all of you, as Magic Bricks now has been consistently reporting on this public health crisis, and we will continue to bring you all the latest developments on this issue as and when they happen. Action is hotting up on the Maharashtra Chief Minister's pet project, the BKC International Finance Services Centre, or the IFSC. Now, we learned that the final document for the layout of the IFSC will be out in a few weeks' time, and as usual, we have Ruchi Deshpande filling us in with the latest.
It looks like the International Finance Services Centre set to come up in Bandra Kurla complex in Mumbai, as well as Gujarat's Gift City, will not be pitted against each other. Remember, we told you yesterday that Chief Minister of Maharashtra Devendra Fadnavis, along with a task force for the BKC IFSC, was mulling sister city partnerships. In further clarification today, Chief Minister Fadnavis mentioned that they are looking at other international cities with International Finance Services Centre besides Gift City in Gujarat in order to create a sustainable sustainable framework for an IFC set to come up in Bandra Kurla complex. Now, he further revealed that the RFP or the request for proposal had already been floated for the master plan of this structure set to come up in BKC, and the final document regarding this from the government of Maharashtra will be ready in the next 2 to 3 weeks, after which a master plan for the same will be ready in 6 months from now. He further mentioned that the final clearance needed for BKC IFSC in order to become a financial special economic zone will also be decided by the end of this month, that is April. So give it another 6 months and we shall see the layout as well as the structure for this BKC IFSC set to come up in Mumbai.
All right, now staying with Maharashtra, Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis also mentioned the measures Maharashtra will put in place for tackling the water crisis in the state that's making all kinds of headlines, and that includes reviving existing schemes. Listen in.
We would try to reuse the water from all these municipal corporations, have a tertiary treatment on it, and we would like to give that water to the industries. So now the fresh water which is going to the industries can be replaced by this tertiary treated water. And once we do that, more water will be available for the cities. We are creating few more schemes like the Surya water scheme, which was stuck for let's say last 4-7 years. Now in next 1 month, we will be able to kickstart the Surya water scheme.
Here's to the state of Maharashtra getting enough water for the upcoming hot summer season. But on that note, we've completely run out of time on the show. But if you have any feedback or suggestions for us, write to us on the email ID flashing on your screens. We're also on Twitter and Facebook, or you can also get in touch with us on our website. The IDs are on your screens. We would love to hear from you. But with that, it's a wrap over here. This is Krishna Kumar signing off.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/magicbricksnow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at magicbricksnow. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/magicbricksnow.